Well, it is I, the lyrical miracle, factual, intellectual, the budding linguist, and the quintessential son muffin. Joel, my schlong is like a baby's arm, like a baby up in your mama's
still alive,
womb.
Right?
Yeah.
And he
yeah.
loves
I gotta get him back
when
on.
we're listening to In the Room. Keep listening and have yourself.
Sometimes the world looks perfect, nothing to rearrange.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It's In the Room on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network. We're back. I'm back. The whole crew's back. Well, half the crew is back, and I'm so excited to be here. This is In the Room on the VOC Nation on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network, VOCNation.com, and all your favorite podcast platforms as well. Brady Hicks here. With me, as always, the lovely Kathy Fitz. How you doing, Kathy?
Good, Brady. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good. I'm excited to be here. Lots of interesting topics. Our guest postponed, so we'll be talking to Kevin Keenan in the near future, hopefully. But he wasn't able to make it on tonight. We also have the one and only Maestro of professional wrestling, Papa Stro. Thank you for holding down the fort last week, Stro. Kathy, how you doing, Stro?
Oh, my pleasure. Kathy was such a big help last week. It was a little laid back, but we missed you, Brady. We're glad to have you and the gang back.
It's the reinforcements are here, right? For sure.
Yeah.
At least it's not like it used to be back in the day, where it was like all the callers are kind of like scaling the wall, and you gotta fight them down. It wasn't like that, at least. So they were kind of mellow. Killer Kevin Brady. What's going on, Kevin? I still can't get over another Brady.
It's me. It's me. It's HKB, the original Brady, hardcore Kevin Brady, representing Steel Cage Radio with my man, the hack, Patrick Hackett.
Oh, look at that. He just stole your intro. Hey, what's going on?
It's okay.
I'm excited to be here. We got a couple fun topics I've been just kind of researching since we discussed them, and I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Oh, you're doing research. Well, that's always good. What's research?
A fancy boy over here with his research.
Yeah, I know.
In his Wikipedias.
I wrote stuff down. I wrote stuff down with a pen and paper. I'm all set. Yeah. 914-338-1885. I'm only playing, of course. I didn't do any research, but it's all up here in his noggin somewhere. 914-338-1885 is the number to call in tonight. And, we can talk whatever you guys want tonight. Obviously, WWE and AEW kind of on their way. Yeah, lots of interesting stuff going on in wrestling for sure. I saw a couple kind of topics. Oh, and I wanted to mention, too, ECWA this past weekend was an amazing show. Joey Ace, who we just had on here, reclaimed the ECWA heavyweight title after winning the Battle Royal and getting his title shot. He's a good guy. I like to see good guys succeed. So Joey Ace is a 3-time ECWA champion. So, yeah, good for him. And he's the Warriors of Wrestling champion.
He didn't seem to like you very much on the show.
Yeah, we go back and forth. He's pretty good. Actually, he grabbed the chair. I was sitting on the chair doing commentary, and he came out and he pie-faced me but hard. I mean, I went to the floor, the second show in a row where I bumped, and I'm not a good bumper. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but it was cool. He took the chair and he won the title, and good for him, I guess. Good for him.
Seems like a fine young man with a bright future.
Oh yeah, outstanding.
Great role model.
I imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
I imagine the call from Ring of Honor is right around the corner. Right.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh,
well,
man.
maybe now, because they don't really have contracts anymore. You know, just hey, you want to come work for us? You know, just like any other indie. I still think they're going to be valued, though. I do, because I mean, they have that TV deal, right?
Yep.
So that's got to be worth something. Yeah. So it's a televised indie. No, that's TNA. They're on I don't know, something that I don't get.
The Sinclair.
I watch them on the Fight app.
Yeah, the Sinclair
like out of
network.
Baltimore, right? So that's like Baltimore and
yeah.
I watch them on the Fight app, and they're always on there. So and hopefully they're still around for a while. So that was just one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight. Kevin, I actually really liked your topic a whole lot. I'd love to I think that's a good one to kind of start out as we begin to welcome callers too. I'm also going to bring on the line Ray, who's joining us after missing a couple weeks here. What's going on, Ray? How you doing, brother?
I am doing at least as well as Ring of Honor's creditors. How are we tonight, man?
Doing good. Doing good. To
Coming
their
in
credit,
shooting, huh?
Yeah, coming in hot.
Everyone's dropping bombs on Ring of Honor.
But you know what? I got a bomb, and I want to drop it. And actually, Kevin, it was your bomb. You dropped it all. I thought it was a great topic. It's certainly a great way to kind of start the show off. I think that moment that comes to you that you fell in love with wrestling.
Yeah. So basically, what I was thinking about today was like, why did I stick with this for so long? I mean, I'm sure every one of us here saw wrestling for the first time when we were like 7 years old or something like that, right? And what is it that captured that 7-year-old and ran them all the way into their 40s that, you know, maybe whatever something else you saw when you were 7 didn't. And for me, as I was thinking about it, what I realized is the show, and specifically the event and it's kind of cliche, I think, for someone of my age, but the thing that blew my mind and really locked me in was when this gentleman body slammed this gentleman.
Okay. All right.
I got them. Silverdome.
Yeah.
When this happened. And,
can you recreate it?
Oh, jeez.
This is how he does it now.
Those toys are so great. They had no articulation.
They were
the bushwhackers.
Oh yeah,
I got the bushwhackers.
I like the Brutus Beefcake. He came like this, and you just had to put his,
put someone else's head in there. Yeah,
exactly. This is like
right there with the scissors.
I'll have to get mine out. I have some.
Mine stay in the box.
WrestleMania 3 when Hogan slams Andre, and the reason I realized that this was the moment that captured my imagination was, so quick story, when I was a kid, both of my parents worked. My dad worked days, my mom worked nights, right? So
yeah,
this is the early to mid 80s. My dad is an older parent at that point, so he's of a generation where, like, palling around with your 7-year-old son isn't really something that happened. It's more of a modern parenting thing, right? It was, we'll toss the football around in the backyard, but otherwise leave me alone. So on Friday nights, my mom would go to work and my dad would take me to West Coast Video, little local video chain. And we'd go and he'd park me in free reign in West Coast Video to go find whatever I wanted while he wandered off into whatever mystery corner of West Coast Video he was going into. But
they had those corners.
They did. They had those beaded partitions. But I would obsessively, it was a different kind of wrestling. Yeah. Obsessively rent one of 3 tapes. And those tapes, there were 2 different Transformers tapes, because I was in love with the Transformers when I was a kid. But the third one was WrestleMania 3. I would rent WrestleMania 3 every other week and watch it constantly. And just everything about that event, just the hype around how massive the event was in the Pontiac Silverdome. The really cool carts that brought the guys down to the ring, the little mini ring carts. Yeah. And that image of Andre coming down in the cart with Bobby Heenan and so everything about that really kind of just blew my mind. And as a kid, Hulk Hogan at the time, we all know he was, this short of Superman as far as superheroes go. Seeing him do the unthinkable and lift this literal giant and slam him on his back was just, it blew my mind.
That's cool.
And what's really cool about WrestleMania 3 too is as you get older, you appreciate the rest of the card, and especially the Macho Man versus Steamboat match, absolute classic. So I mean that really is what hooked me, and I can look back and have fond memories of that event. Whatever 35 years later.
Very cool time for sure. Very cool. Stro, how about you? I mean, you go back a ways with wrestling. What was it that made you fall in love?
Oh man, since I was a little kid, it was just like growing up with my grandfolks, watching Georgia Championship Wrestling, Florida Championship Wrestling, Florida rather, World Class in Texas, just the different territories back then. And just seeing the excitement in each one, and having your heroes and villains that you cheer and boo on television. It just it was infectious, and it just grew and grew as years gone by, and to the point where you just had that love and passion for it, and eventually what brought me to the business. So and ironically later on in my career, finding out I was related to one of the greatest ever in the business. So
seriously.
Yeah. What a journey.
No, so for those who don't know, you're related to the original Gorgeous George from the 50s.
Yeah.
He was your great uncle, right? Wasn't that it?
Yeah, him and my grandpa were like amateur boxing buddies back in the day before he broke in.
Wow. Okay. But you had no knowledge of that when you were a kid watching wrestling when you're younger.
I had no clue. Not 2 years later, where you had like Dusty Rhodes and William Regal comparing my style to Gorgeous George, and it just grew, and finally I just asked my grandpa one day, "What's going on?" I'm getting all these comparisons, right? And he just looked at me one day. He's like, "You didn't know?" I didn't know what?
How would I know?
Me up, right? Yeah, crazy.
That's amazing. Like one of the guy that redefined what it was to be a heel in the business.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Really took it from, just in front of the crowd to playing to the TV crowd too. There's a time that like I wish that I was around for the territory days. And, I read the book about Junkyard Dog, and just hearing the stories about how they would just hot shot the angle in one place. Yeah.
Great book. I highly recommend Death of the Territories.
So they hot shot the angle in one place. You know what? This works. So they go from Championship Wrestling in Florida. They're going to see Harley in St. Louis. They're taking it to the Armstrongs in Texas. And it was just like, it's like the barnstorming days of baseball when you would get like Cool Papa Bell and all these people going, man, it had to be crazy to be able to kind of live through that. It's such a more authentic wrestling experience than I think like kids today are growing up with.
Well, Hack, I mean, to that point, when we were kids, the territories were already starting to go away at that point. Like Vince had already started to consolidate power, but there was still a sense of regionalness, is that a word?
Yeah, absolutely.
To it. Like, if you were in the Northeast like us, that was WWF territory, and you had to go out of your way to watch, some of the stuff happening in WCW, on the TBS Superstation shows and in the closed sets. But, that was what Stro was saying about the territories, and then what Hag said got me thinking. And, back then, even late 80s, WWF came to Philadelphia every month. Yeah. I mean, they were running the Spectrum monthly. And my dad, who realized that, he had created a little wrestling fan by all those trips to West Coast Video, and he was a postal worker down at the Philadelphia International Airport, and this is pre-internet, pre-Ticketmaster, the whole thing. So when they would announce a new show was coming to town, on his lunch break, he would leave the airport and he would drive down to the Spectrum box office, and he would always get us the best seats he could. Always made sure we had lower level aisle seats. So I was one of those kids that got that amazing experience of like, oh my God, I'm standing 2 feet away from the Undertaker when he's walking down, or I'm standing 2 feet away from Hulk Hogan or Bastion Booger, whoever. Just all the luminaries. But that really did something to myself. And I think the people of our generation that really kind of brought them in closer than kids can get today, when, you've got the constant product on TV, but they're not running your territory, for lack of a better term, every month. You might get to see them once a year, twice a year if you're in a big city. So I think it's really cool. I think that was a really cool time when it was a little more territorial, even in the early days of consolidation. Going back even further, like Stro was saying, those territory days, I would love to have, just like Hack said, I would love to have been there.
And not just the territories, but like my thing is like the whole kayfabe thing. Like in the 80s, and I don't know how much of it, because I know there's pockets of the country where kayfabe still exists. I took my dad to an indie show a couple of years ago in my capacity with Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I swear to God, my dad has no idea what's going on as far as like what's real and what isn't. I can't believe he was really getting into it, And I was like,
it was more fun.
I miss that. I miss that.
I mean, that's how we all reconnected, is that we came to an ECWA show and we're like, we are just going with it. Heels are being booed, faces are being cheered, and we're going to have the best time. And we absolutely did. It was amazing.
No disrespect to ECWA, but Hack and I are driving down the road, driving down the White Horse Pike, and hey, look, it's a dirtbag indie show. Let's go check it out. Because it's in this old, reformed or converted gym or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun when you allow yourself.
Cool. Yep.
When you give yourself that license to suspend your disbelief and pretend that it's all real. It's still real to me, damn it.
Exactly. Kathy, I was just saying, I can remember talking to Bill Apter not that long ago and just saying, like for me, I think what I do with the writing, with this podcast, like everything would be so much different. I just wish, Kathy, I could have been in on that secret at a time when not everyone knew. Because it was just such a great time. The Hurricane basically said it this week as well. He's talking about like, fans are worried too much about what's happening behind the scenes, and it takes away your enjoyment. I do believe that. I do. Now, there's some compelling stuff about like knowing what's going on behind the scenes, knowing what people really are like. That's fine. But like for me, as much as the loss of territories, it's the loss of kayfabe that like has definitely affected the way that I view things, for sure. And that's not my thing. Go ahead, Kathy.
I have to laugh. I hear you guys all saying, oh, when I was 7, I was this. Okay. I was 18. Okay. I was 18 at Penn State.
And Gorgeous George asked you out.
No, I was watching.
I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
No, it was Frank Gotch. Get it right. Frank Gotch asked her out.
He's just like,
what was that?
I'm just doing like the the pose. Go ahead.
I was watching wrestling, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I was watching Steamboat, Flair. They were all wrestling. It was great. Barry Windham when he was younger. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Then, fast forward, I got to meet Bret Hart. I got to meet Sherry, which was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. Meeting my best friend. And from then on, I met everybody. It was, but you guys are all like 7. I was 18.
Stro wasn't 7. Stro's older.
Yeah. No. I wasn't that much. I was maybe like 10 or 11. So.
Yeah, that's me too. So
you guys gotta remember, I'm 62.
Like I was 12 years old and I got to enjoy. I had been exposed to wrestling throughout the 80s.
Yeah.
Like my cousins were really into it. I can remember having not followed wrestling, and my cousins wanted to do the WrestleMania 4 title tournament in the backyard at my grandparents' house, you know, and it's like who's going to be who, you know, Macho Man, Andre, Hulk, Savage. I forget who I was. I think I got stuck as like, I don't remember who. I probably was Ted DiBiase because there weren't that many of us. But I didn't know who.
I was playing pickup 6 with Sputnik Monroe. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I want to give a brief.
That's a great reference.
I want to give a brief shout out to the Detroit Lions fans on Halloween that I saw during the Lions-Eagles game. There were 2 guys. They made their way on the TV broadcast a couple of times. DiBiase and Jake the Snake. Fantastic costumes.
Yeah, no, that was cool. Yeah, so like for me, that was when I was exposed to it, but I still wasn't a fan. And my grandmother would watch it. And one time I was over her house. It was a Saturday morning, and no lie, Stro, I told you how important John Tenta was for me becoming a fan. I saw Earthquake sit on Hulk Hogan, and I was like, I'm in. After that, my grandmother and I are standing there. We're eating popcorn Saturday morning. We're laughing our asses off at this thing. And it was like, at that moment, John Tenta had me. I had nightmares that Earthquake was going to come and sit on me. And like, it was just so cool, you know? I'm surprised I didn't write a letter to Hulk Hogan, like, hoping that he got better in the hospital.
Hope your ribs are
He's
okay.
really off filming a movie, but I didn't know that, Kathy. I didn't know that. Ray, did you have one?
I do, and it might be appropriate that this is, you know, that this one kind of comes at the end of several of these, because mine is like, it's a weird thing that like no one should really probably ever have for a segment like this. But
like Earthquake.
Mine, like Kathy came. Yeah. I mean, it's not quite Earthquake sitting on something, but you know, it's up there on that level of weirdness. So mine was older. I was in college before I started watching wrestling, and
okay.
Truth be told, I started watching it because I had no money for
porn,
TV,
right?
And porn.
Yeah.
I had no porn money either. I had no money for TV.
Speaking of porn, Tora, we'll be right with you. Hang tight.
Dude, don't do that while I'm taking a sip, man.
Sorry. Sorry, Ray.
Okay, so
I think you give me the teacher glare.
I had no money for good internet either.
Yeah. So
I'm actually surprised you saw me do that glare from over the phone. I had started watching wrestling that I could find online from the internet that I stole from the neighbors upstairs.
Okay.
And,
all right.
And it was strange. I fell in love with it. But if you want to what's the event or what's the thing? This is gonna be so strange. So what made me fall in love with it was actually the series of body slam matches between Big John Studd and Andre the Giant.
Dude, that's great.
You were in college for those? No, I know. You were watching the mold. I know. I'm just playing.
You're over the
camera. Weird.
Dude, that and like, remember like the full Nelson challenges Warlord did? Those stupid gimmicks were amazing. It sucked you in, but look, it made a lifelong fan there, and it's not wrestling, but it is, and it's so good.
And who can forget the drawing power of Akeem the African Dream?
Oh, Akeem!
Yeah. Good old Akeem. Good old Akeem.
That is cultural appropriation there.
And that topic that Brady brought up, man, he's a guy that if he kind of stuck with a different gimmick, I think would have been in a much different place. And especially like, looking at how he did in the territory days. That's a footnote for other conversation. For me, I have two, and they're both after I've been fans for a while. wrestling was always around. Saturday morning, I would watch WCW Saturday night at my grandma's house. They were the only people I knew that had TBS. I just remember watching that. But the match that actually got me into wrestling itself, I was 10 years old for SummerSlam 91 and Brett versus Perfect. And just sucked into the art of it all. And kind of, there's not gimmicks. There's not anything but two guys who want to beat each other and are one-upping each other with some showmanship. And, then as you get older, it fades. You go through, it's fake, it's corny, this, that, and the other. And just up late one night, MSG, sometime in 1994, double tables, the Public Enemy versus Sabu and the Tasmaniac. And I was like, this is what wrestling can be? 14-year-old me was like, I'm into that. Let's do that.
For sure.
Yeah, I was totally on board for the ECW Evolution.
Yeah.
No doubt.
What a match. What a match.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah. That Heart Perfect match stands up. I had to check and see which came first because I also remember Davey and Brett in Wembley. That's another very vivid memory for me.
Yeah.
Perfect was the year before. So, I mean, two SummerSlam matches. Bret Hart was my all-time favorite for a really, really long time.
Remember the good old days when there were only 4 pay-per-views and they were all competitors? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. No, it was so much better. Derek makes fun of me, actually, because I used to always cheer against Bret Hart in every match. I got Kurt Hennig. I was his #1 fan whenever he took on Bret. I was like,
terrible
get him. No, Bret was a terrible person. I'm just a fan.
You wonder why he doesn't want to come on the show?
Have you shared clips with him, Kathy? Have you shared clips with him, Kathy?
Come on, we talked so good about him on Lonesome Dove and The Simpsons.
Yeah, I know. In fact, if you remember, I said I hope he stayed there. Actually, I'm only kidding. Of course, I'm only kidding. Actually, today is I believe it's the 24th anniversary of the Montreal Screwjob.
Oh yeah, I saw that on my Facebook memories.
Yeah, it's so hard to believe that a promoter would ruin a guy's chances of winning a legitimate fight by submission. It's.
Do you still have the flowchart?
No, that got destroyed. We got really drunk one night and made a flowchart on how we decided that Montreal was definitely a work.
Oh, I'm one of the few people that says that, and I stand 100%. By that.
Oh.
I was at a convention one time with Steve Carino. Not to name drop Kathy, but you know how it is. So we're sitting around the table. Brett actually has his back to us. He's kind of behind us back here somewhere. And Steve is talking about something that Heyman did one time. And he puts his hands behind his head and he goes, "Yup, that was the second biggest work I ever saw." So that just reaffirmed for me what I always kind of thought. I don't know. Because everybody made out. We can talk about the screw job tonight. Everybody, even Brett, in theory, he should have made out from that. He made money.
No, I'm going
sure. But he had that money anyway. I mean, that was the thing. He already had the contract with WCW. The money was already there.
Yeah.
I'm going with he was a rat sent in to destroy WCW by Vince McMahon. I like that conspiracy theory.
Wasn't it Earl Hebner or Kathy? Maybe you remember. Earl Hebner on this show said he thought it was a work, didn't he? I'm pretty sure I remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah, he did.
I remember that.
Did he ever say anything to you about it, Stro? Not that you would blow the whole thing up right now.
Oh yeah, it came up a few times in conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, Earl's great to talk to, man. We talk about a lot of things.
Have you ever heard anything about?
Is there a better example of how inept Eric Bischoff is, though? That they dropped the ball on that. You had the hottest property available. The reigning WWF champion who gets screwed live on pay-per-view. You can run miles upon miles with this, and they completely shit the bed.
You know,
we're gonna make him a referee and have him screw. We're gonna make him a referee and have him screw somebody else. Yeah. It's perfect. It's perfect. Oh, Stro, yeah.
Anytime someone calls Eric Bischoff one of the geniuses of the history of the business, I'm like, can I just point you to that moment right there?
Yeah,
and how anybody could have booked that better.
He had his moments, but I don't think the long-term vision was one of them. I think he was much better at hot-shotting things sometimes. Just my opinion.
What came after was left a lot to be desired also.
Oh. Well, yeah.
Wasn't it Billy Ray that was just talking about how bad hot-shotting everything has gotten and how he's really worried that, we can talk about, kayfabe, like Kevin was saying, we can talk about a lot of things, but this urgency to A, make news outside of the world of professional wrestling, and B, get the story out as quickly as possible. Like, I mean, we talk about the whole Punk thing with AEW. If they just hit his music in Chicago and pull them back, or we talked about it on one of the first times that Kevin and I were here, like the vignette, this idea of building excitement, but it's like, oh, well, everybody on the internet knows about this. We need to show it to them to make sure that we get the ratings bump instead of a long-term build. And I think a lot of that is these monthly pay-per-views. God, remember when sometimes we had 2 in a month with WWE with the brand splits?
Yeah, for sure.
Much.
For sure.
Dude, You're right. It's like catching lightning in a bottle. It's like, what do you do with it afterwards?
Yep.
I mean, what is one of the most memorable angles of all time? And for really what was a stupid angle, but it played out over months, was Ric Flair and his salacious pictures with Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, man.
And they played that out over months. And you finally got the super lame payoff, but great match and built all the drama towards it. And if you were playing that out these days, it never would have picked up any steam.
Well, I mean, like think about the lifelong rivalries that we've had. Because I was looking again. I do a lot of research for this, and like look at the history of Sting, and I do a lot of research. I do my own research. Sting and Flair, and how their careers just kept intertwining. Sting and Luger. You have these people that go on, and there's so much history built upon that. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and that other guy who went to build the orphanage in Mexico. But like these career paths that intertwine, there should be so much more being made anytime the Usos get in the ring with a New Day, because these guys' careers have been around each other this whole time, and they've come up and they've intertwined. And we have this 50-50 booking, and then we have this whole idea that every angle needs to be hot-shotted instead of like slow burn, like let them get a little taste here and there. Not to be lewd, but it's like a drug dealer, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, and you keep coming back until you hook them for life, like what we're talking about.
Oh,
that's my strategy for the
that's another one.
Yeah.
That's my strategy for the podcast. Just give them a little bit, just enough to hook them, and then you start charging them. By the way,
let's tell them about the upcoming Patreon and the first level of Patreon for $5 a month. Brady does this same show without a shirt on. It's great.
Whoa.
Speaking of topless, let's go to St. Louis. What's going on, Tori? You partying tonight, girl?
No, I'm at my daughter's house.
You're at your what house? Your druthers?
My daughter's.
Daughters. I thought your daughter was like 10. How does she have a house?
The market's really fucked up, man.
Your daughter has a house at 13? Oh, she lives with her father, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Just been working. I haven't been on the radio station lately.
We missed you. A couple times I tried to put you on, but it was just like,
So, Tora, you haven't been working the circuit?
Yeah.
She's working it. She's working it.
Inc.
Oh. All right. That's good. Good to hear. All right.
All right, Tora. Well, good to talk to you.
Yeah.
What? What are you saying, Tora?
You deal with dog's bones, capri surgery.
But Tora, hold on. You dropped the phone in the fish tank. I can't hear you.
This is what we deal with dog's bones.
What we deal with. You deal with
doggy bones.
Lucky Bones?
No, Doggy Bones.
Doggy Bones. What are you doing with Doggy Bones?
Oh, we're talking about the Moondogs? I love the Moondogs.
Yeah, I miss the Moondogs.
Oh.
You been chewing on bones? Eh?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
He's giving a dog a bone. Oh.
I missed you, Tora, but I never understand what you're talking about.
I miss you too.
Okay, good.
So
I miss all y'all guys.
Tora,
what was the moment you fell in love with wrestling?
Thank you, Ray. Thank you. That's what I was about to ask her. When did you fall in love?
It's going to be down here. The fact that it's going to be down here January 29th for the Royal Rumble.
That's when you fell in love? When you found that out?
You fell in love at the Royal Rumble. All right, so which Royal Rumble was it?
This one. This coming up.
Yeah, this one.
Tora, when you first watched wrestling, what made you fall in love with it?
My aunt, they
there you go.
taped wrestling, and they've been wrestling fans for over 30 years.
Okay. Who'd you see?
I wasn't there with them, but
okay.
They went to go see.
You just like the idea of them taping it
before he passed.
Okay.
And The Undertaker.
Okay. All right. Well, it was great to talk to you, Tora. I did miss you. Have you talked to Randy Orton lately? Have you talked to Randy Orton lately?
No, I haven't spoken with him.
Okay. Have you talked to anybody?
No, only just Dustin.
I'm sorry about that. So, like, when you went over your daughters, you only talked to Dustin?
I always thought she was referring to Dustin Runnels at that point in time. I was like, "Oh, cool. How's he doing?"
I think she just
Dustin
talks
Hoffman.
the voices in her head.
Yeah. Tora. You know, Tora, I love how
congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you, Tora. You know, I was holding out for you,
You're
but
welcome.
you're all the way in St. Louis.
Yeah, I know.
She laughs like a witch, doesn't she?
Well, now you got me nervous. See, when you're telling me you're from St. Louis, and
hearing correctly
that you know, with that kind of age that I'm feeling from your voice, I expected some sort of Harley race anecdote because you know that's his territory.
Yeah. Nothing. No, Tora, thank you so much. And I got to admire, like, one thing with Tora that's great, Ray, is, you know, we could be talking about, like, whatever. But we get Tora on, and that whole discussion just, like, melts away, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Aww. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Not a compliment.
That is one reaction to that. That is definitely one possible reaction to that comment. Brady, am I to understand this correctly that you are finally engaged?
Yes.
Ray, that was like 3 weeks ago, man. Come on.
Good for you.
Yeah. I haven't talked to Ray in a few weeks. Tora. I love you, Tora.
You talked to me last week when you were in Las Vegas.
I love you too. I had my motors taken out.
You had your motor taken out?
My teeth.
Oh, wow.
Oh, molars.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you, a motor mouth? All right, I got you.
Marble mouth.
No.
So how many
hurting me really badly?
How many you got left now? I'm down to 4.
3.
You got 3 teeth left. Okay. No molars, I'm guessing. All your molars are gone, right?
Yeah.
Is it like a jack-o'-lantern thing where they interlock when you smile? Like,
it's crazy.
It is
they
crazy.
They got me on 600 milligrams of ibuprofen.
Oh, geez.
You're taking every milligram of them, aren't you?
When you mention jack-o'-lantern, it flashes me back to when I mispronounced Chikara at a show and got booed.
Chikara?
I said Shakira.
Oh.
And like I could see Hallowicked's face through his mask. I was like, oh, he is not pleased.
The hip toss don't lie.
That's good. I like that.
Thank you.
That is good. That is good. Yeah, and today, what difference does it make? You know, but back then, I liked Chikara. I did. Tora, thank you for the call, honey doll. I love you very much. And
You're welcome.
you know, I was flying over St. Louis, and I thought of you.
All right. Well, look, Brady, when you're on a plane over St. Louis, the last thing I want to hear you yell out is Tora, Tora, Tora.
Took him a while to get there, but he got there. I figured it was coming.
I was looking for an opening the whole time. Yeah. I was thinking, was her father a kamikaze pilot? I was going to all sorts of machinations.
Yeah. You know what Tora really likes to do, and this is something we always talk about. She likes to ride on the arch. Because you know how like the one side has like a ladder and you can climb up, and she was telling, right, Tora, how you ride the arch?
Is that?
Yeah.
Is that a drug thing?
She's messing with me. Yeah. I think I just made it up, and she just is playing along. Thank you for the time, Tora. I love you, Tora. I thought you knew I was engaged. I don't know. We were talking last week. I didn't even think about it. I thought I texted you. I guess not.
No, you informed me about how much fun Las Vegas was.
Well,
and
that was fun. In some ways, more fun.
You were worried about. And then you also mentioned that you were worried about adjusting back to East Coast time.
Well, I was worried about that. Yeah. I thought okay. Yeah, it had happened like 2 weeks before that.
Well, and then I had given you the suggestion of just like chug a bottle of NyQuil right before you go through security.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea.
Sleep on the plane.
Yeah.
No, that's an amazing idea. But no,
I probably would fall asleep before my gate. Thank you.
So, belated congratulations.
Thank you. What took you so long?
Oh, Brady, you told all of your friends, right?
Exactly.
There were a lot of moondogs, like way more than I had any recollection of.
Oh, yeah. So,
all right. Well,
anyway,
Tora really got us off track.
Well, that's what happens, though. You know, I talk for a little bit, and then I take a call. I do love Tora, though. I miss all the callers. We used to have so many. Ray chased a lot of them away. So yeah, Ray chased a lot of them.
Were any of them coherent?
Yeah, here's a good one. Okay, you guys will enjoy this, and I'm gonna try and get him to come back for the drunken episode, which is usually like between Christmas and New Year's.
School night, Brady.
Balls. Yeah. So like we have this one, and he likes to sing to the wrestlers. I got it right here. Hold on. Here we go. No, but well, sort of.
Deck the halls with Sue Young. La 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 la. Come to her show to impress her. La 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 la. 'Cause she works so hard and is sad and sending her Christmas card. Deck the halls with Sue Young in Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, and I can just picture him taking her guts and just kind of stringing them along the halls, you know.
I think you have to tell somebody about that. Like,
I feel like
he's a mandated reporter.
On the old Stern show, and every caller is like developmentally disabled out.
Yeah, pretty much, but not Tora, obviously, because she's still listening.
Man, I want to tell you that clip he played, that is John from Rhode Island. And he is, and I am going to say this, Brady. You can play this for him to get him to come back. He is by far the best caller the show has ever had.
That's an incredibly low bar.
Me walking around the Christmas tree.
We have a whole Christmas album from him.
You'll wanna see 'cause it has Stacy on TV, and it is PG, and it's a tree that you can buy for free.
Anyway, so 914-338-1885. This is an area of welcoming and inclusion for sure. I cite my good friend Joe Gacy when I say that.
Man, that adds a good gimmick. That's a really good gimmick.
So good. And he's so good at it too. Like his eyes get all big when
I'm
he's
shocked. After seeing everything he was doing, I'm like, this is what they decided for him. It's the same thing when I was talking about last week when I looked at the roster page and Josh Briggs is smiling at me. I'm like, that man's a monster. I've seen him do things. Like, what made you decide to go with that gimmick? He's good. He's really good.
It's funny though. Well, he's really good at like kind of comedy stuff. So, and I'm sure that they're having a real old giggle about that. So, it's pretty cool. So good for him.
He still has a job, so he should get to giggle.
Yeah. So if you got Kevin, I know you don't watch NXT, but he's a highlight. He talks about he basically is like he plays a woke character basically. So he talks about inclusion and safe space and he's very phony with everybody. It's really kind of funny.
It's a very, very good gimmick. It's something that they would have done in the Attitude Era. It's kind of like,
so they're definitely playing that as a heel, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And now he's got a disciple too, which is I think Bo Buchanan's kid. So.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
I think that's who it is. Yeah, right. Have you seen this on NXT?
It's like second generation.
He's great. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't taken it that far yet, but no,
because he's playing it very authentically. He's tremendously talented to go with this. I think it's a really good choice for the gimmick. I think it's a good gimmick. I've definitely been accused by people of being overly woke, and I know how obnoxious it can be, and I think it plays well. There's a really good, now Brady mentioned it before he came on. Kevin Brady mentioned it before he came on the air. I started watching TikTok, and there's a really good TikToker who's been doing like kind of a gimmick like that. It's very funny.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Let's go to I think Virginia. Haven't talked to this guy in a while. Still loading. Never mind. What's going on, Justin? How you doing, brother?
Hey, how are you doing now?
Good. How's that knee? Justin hurt his knee. He has a GoFundMe going because he hurt his knee.
Yeah, did he hurt his knee or did he hurt his wee knee? I need to know which one.
It was his high knee.
I had to get surgery.
Ooh, his high knee. All right.
I'm only playing. What's going on, Justin?
That's all good.
You tripped. You were walking the dog, right? Walking the dog, and you tripped.
Yeah.
Tripped. That's how I did mine.
Over a big stick in the road.
Stick in the road? Was it a stick in the mud?
Yes. Stick in the road. Fell.
Okay.
And it was terrible. I'm sorry, though.
Justin, what's on your mind today, bud?
Just kidding.
Thank you for trying to bring him on task. Justin, I got some new co-hosts here, and we're just talking some wrestling. I was just wondering, when was the moment when you fell in love with wrestling? Like, what was it that was going on?
I mean, I tell you, I've been a wrestling fan my whole entire life.
Mm-hmm.
But, I would say when I was 10 or 11, it was it all started when my mom married her first husband, and
were they wrestling?
Some guy.
He walked in on the wrestling.
His job was like, some guy was like,
Triple Threat.
Your stepson, he might like.
Yeah.
He might like this WWF at the time.
Okay.
So that was at the time where it was the Attitude Era and Stone Cold. I sat down, I watched it. I was like, oh,
Still was Stone Cold?
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was at first until I started watching it every week since then. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh.
You know what? You know what's funny? I knew what it was back then, but I look at it today and I have no idea what it is.
Today, I mean, I watch some of the stuff that they have now.
Yeah.
It's just like I watch WWE at times. Like right now, I'm watching it. But a buddy of mine, told me that there's a site where I can watch. It's called Independent Wrestling TV. It has a lot of the
IWTV
indie shows. And
that's where ECWA is on. If you get that, you can watch ECWA.
I actually got a subscription for it, so.
Cool. Will you watch ECWA then? Because I'm on there.
Yeah, support him.
Yeah, I will.
I just got super kicked at the last show.
And pie faced at this other one.
And I got pie faced at this one. I got shoved out of my chair. They're taking liberties with me, Justin. They think I'm a pansy for some reason.
So remember, if you don't like Brady Hicks, subscribe to IWTV and watch him get his ass kicked on a weekly basis.
It's becoming like a snuff film.
Brady, I don't think you know what that is.
Brady this month? No, I don't. We're gonna tie him up, and now like.
So who's the new radio host? I didn't get to meet him yet. So.
Well, actually, Hulk Hogan is one of our co-hosts now. Hulk, do you want to say hi?
Oh wow.
Come on, Hulk. Don't be shy.
Oh yeah, brother. Here I am.
That was terrible.
That's the Macho Man.
Macho Man.
Actually, Justin, so two of my friends from college who had a wrestling show for a number of years have kind of signed on. Actually, I think our contract was only through this week, so we have to talk about an extension.
We'll have to discuss.
Yeah, I'll have to look over the budget and see what we can afford.
We don't come cheap or easy.
Got that right.
So,
Justin comes cheap.
Is something.
Yeah. So we're just having fun, Justin. We're just living it up. Oh, yeah. I guess you're not working anymore, so.
I'm actually out. I'm actually out on leave until probably the beginning of March. But
man, you really did your knee, huh?
Yeah, I had to get emergency. It happened on.
Could I say you need surgery?
Ugh.
Oh God, you're the worst. So Justin, I can totally empathize. I ruptured my quadricep a couple of years ago. I know what this whole knee situation is like. I would advise you not to take your painkillers right before you call a radio show next time. But while we've got you on the line, so you said that you really kind of glommed onto wrestling during the Attitude Era. You were kind of mesmerized by Stone Cold. I get that 100%. Justin, I want you to just dig deep in the annals of your brain here and think, what one moment in Stone Cold's career really stood out to you and like just kind of made you think, I need to come watch this every week? Like, was he hitting Vince with a stunner and cracking open a Steve Weiser? Was he smacking Vince over the head with a bedpan? Was he abusing Vince in any way? What was Stone Cold doing that really captured your imagination?
I tell you, I mean, you just said it. I mean,
he did all that.
The work he's gonna. I mean, the guy who goes to work, he can literally kick his boss's ass and not get fired for it.
Nice.
That's something that I like. I mean,
boys, I have a manifesto for you.
Justin, if you were really good at your job, you'd be able to beat up your boss too.
Brady, I don't think that's how that works. I think you need to be in a certain field, maybe at like UFC you could challenge Dana White, or Joe Rogan if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So you can drink the most ivermectin.
Justin, I found filters on this video, and I have like WCW Bret Hart sunglasses right now.
I mean, they even messed up his sunglasses, to Stroh's comment. That was a warning sign for all of us.
My God, the pink sunglasses. Why are we even thinking about getting rid of it? That was such an amazing part of his gimmick.
Can we buy those now? Because I would wear Bret Hart sunglasses around always. So
I had pink ones and silver ones. I had the ones from the Hart Foundation days, and then I got the pink ones.
Wow.
When he was doing his own thing.
I want the vintage wraparound.
Yeah.
Oh, those were the best.
Oh, the best, yeah.
Is Derek still a part of the show?
Yeah, he is. He'll be on later. Derek.
I haven't heard.
Likes to keep us waiting.
Anything from him in a while.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put you on hold, and if Derek calls in, you'll be able to hear him. How's that sound?
There you go. That's all good. You can put me on whatever you want.
All right, brother. I'm going to put you back in the queue. Love you, man. Love you, bro.
I want the late '80s Macho Man ski goggles.
Oh yeah.
Like with the line.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Why can't we get sunglasses like that? Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd
Brett
be cool.
is selling the sunglasses on his site.
If you really wanted.
Thanks.
So I'll tell you what, we got a bunch more topics we want to get into tonight, and this derailed a little bit because of the callers. That's on, as Nick Sirianni, the head coach of the Eagles, would say, that's on me. Everything's on him, and well, you don't need to affix it. We just say it's on us, and then it's okay. But yeah, so that's on me. But we're going to take a commercial break, and on the other side, we're going to dive back in with some more topics. We'll also take more of your calls if anybody else wants to call in. 914-338-1885. Is that Smash?
That is.
You got the helmet.
Smash. With the helmet.
Okay. You got the helmet.
That's impressive.
There's Axe.
There's good old Bill. 914-338-1885. It's in the room on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network, and we will be right back.
And Crush.
Hey, this is Total Package, Lex Luger. You're listening to the VOC.
All right. Oh, man. Yeah, they have a way of derailing it, but I like the interaction, you know? I don't get rid of them quick enough.
Nobody's making like good looking Macho Man sunglasses. Oh, there's Macho Man bandanas.
I have like a pair of ski goggles that kind of look like what he used to wear.
Oh my God, there's a Bonesaw McGraw singlet.
Bonesaw.
I used to have the Shawn Michaels Peace sunglasses with the danglies on the sides. But
very nice.
I bought them at a house show.
I feel like I need this Bonesaw McGraw singlet.
Yeah, yeah. What would you do with it?
Wear it
always. In public, you know, formal events.
Formal events.
You know, Ray, do you want to go out? Do you want to go out tonight? Absolutely. I show up at like 11 o'clock at night in my Bonesaw McGraw singlet.
Bonesaw is ready.
You know, he'd put it on in his bedroom and just look in the mirror and ask himself, would you wrestle me? I'd wrestle me.
Would you wrestle?
I found a really good pair of Randy Savage. Randy Savage looking ones. They're $120 though.
Wow.
You should totally spend money on that.
I think you should. Yeah.
I do not. I spent $300 to build a lightsaber and ship it home. I think my spending days are limited at the moment.
That's understandable.
Yeah. Ray, did you have a topic for tonight? Because I want to work it into the queue here. It's okay if you don't.
Playing around with this, I've been playing around with this idea in my head, and if you want me to like take a week to flesh it out, I will. But like wrestling products that never should have been.
I like that.
like I'm thinking of like Hulk Hogan's Pastamania is not something that ever should have existed in any form. And yet,
I think you're wrong.
I can give you the best one is the Maximum Sweat wrestling figures. They were fucking disgusting.
They had the little thing in the back.
Yeah, and they would sweat. And it was just gross because you just put water in them, but something about the plastic made the water gross when it came out.
That's funny. I'm trying for the life of me to think of. All
right, Brady, how much longer we got on this commercial break?
We'll take like another 3. Is that okay? And then we'll come back. I don't want to go 20 this time.
Yeah, I'm gonna bail around 10:30 too. By the way, guys. So just FYI.
Okay. All right. No worries.
That's actually maybe let's come back. Do you guys want to do that? Do you guys want to do that topic, or do you guys want to
No, I think we could do it.
Kiss and get out.
Yeah, I just don't. Well, I mean, listen. So we have Patrick's topic, and I'll let you know just so that we What's that?
I said I didn't research that topic.
No. I know. I think we have time. You know, we just don't have time to dwell on anything. Let me just give you. So Patrick's topic was like kind of best thrown together tag teams. I think that's pretty cool. And for me, go ahead.
So let's do that, and then we'll come back with the wrestling products that never should have been next week.
That's fine. And I also wanted to mention, so Ahmed Johnson this week said that he should have been the Black Stone Cold if they just let him play that character. And so mine was kind of like, you know, maybe mine needs to be fleshed out better too. I don't know. Yeah, like mine was kind of like, can anybody kind of step in and play certain roles? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like the other one that I thought of is like Tito Santana said that like he was being groomed for Bret Hart's spot before they gave it to Bret Hart.
Because he wasn't, but also.
Well, he was kind of. I mean, there's like
huge push.
There was like he beat the Undertaker. He was the Undertaker's first clean pinfall loss. He beat him in Madrid, like in the middle of the ring. But then they went with Bret Hart. I mean, he said it, and I laughed when he said it, but and I was kind of like looking at it, and like I don't think he was wrong the way they were starting to position. Anyway, that's not the point of this. The point of this is like, is it possible to almost take anybody and kind of make them a star with the right gimmick, I guess?
Okay.
I don't know if that's a doable one. The more I say it, the stupider it sounds. Mostly based on your reaction.
Nah, don't listen to me.
Well, yeah, we'll come back and we'll come back. We'll play it by ear. We'll start out with Kevin's, with Patrick's, and we'll take it from there. See how we do.
Okay.
All right, hold on. But I don't want to go too late either. If Derek's not coming on, and yeah. Well, we'll see. All right, hold on.
Guests from around the world, national artists, and more. We've excited many people by our live events. We've welcomed everybody into the fold, and we continue to do so on a weekly basis. Guys, that is Rock and Roll Union, and that is what we do for you.
Saturdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, VOCNation.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It's In the Room on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network. Be sure to check us out on VOCNation.com and all your favorite podcast platform and apps as well. Be sure to check out all the great content available via the VOC Nation Wrestling Network. And before we kind of jump back in, first of all, 914-338-1885 is the number to call in. Second of all, Stro, the big movie premiere this week. How you feeling? What else you got going on?
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Devil's Daughter premiere was this past weekend. You can check it out on YouTube. Just type in The Devil's Daughter to check out the premiere and the channel as well. Thursday night's WCW Retro will be preempted till next Thursday because I'm going to be on set this Thursday for a upcoming horror short film. But next week's WCW Retro will commence at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on VOCNation.com, and the topic for next week's WCW Retro will be Build Your Own Survivor Series team from the past.
Oh, man.
I like that.
That's really
yeah,
good.
that was a good one.
Really excited.
Teams of 4 or 5? 4 or 5? I like the 4 personally.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely bring your A game next Thursday for WCW Retro to build your own Survivor Series team.
I may have to call into that one, Stro.
No, please do. Anytime, man. Always welcome.
And the number to call in, the number to call in for WCW Retro, the same as this one, 914-338-1885. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And for this Friday night, the Stro Zone, my horror sci-fi show, will commence on my official Facebook page, facebook.com/Stro the Maestro. And this midnight Eastern Standard Time feature this Friday night for the Stro Zone will be The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, starring Don Knotts from back in the day.
Oh, man.
Wow. Please tune in for that.
My mom loved Don Knotts. Yeah.
That tracks.
Shakiest gun in the West.
Shakiest gun in the West, yeah.
That was a huge shakiest gun in the West guy. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, so 914-338-1885 to call in tonight. We were probably only going to be in the air for a little bit longer tonight. Well, we'll see. We'll kind of play it by ear see how everybody feels. But Patrick, you introduced a cool topic. Why don't you have at it? Tag teams thrown together.
So 2 weeks before I went on vacation, Brady went away, and Stro was left running the ship by himself. We kind of talked at the end of the episode about these thrown together tag teams. And, man, I love thrown together tag teams. I went back and, we've been talking about me doing my research, and I looked up what really brought it together for me. And it is the 1991 Starrcade featuring Battle Bowl.
Yes.
What an incredible gimmick idea. There were so many stipulations in this match, but the main one is that there were random draws of tag teams. I didn't even realize WCW went back to the well a couple times with that, including 96 with Diamond Dallas Page. But, to say things like Bill Casimir and his tag team partner, Jushin Thunder Liger. Or
That's cool.
Cactus Jack and Buddy Lee Parker. Or my favorite, Sting and Abdullah the Butcher, which featured Abdullah doing the best face work ever, just smiling and beaming and going, because he was feuding with Sting at the time, and it was just amazing. It was so good.
That's cool.
But every now and then, and Kevin brought up a very good example of this, these thrown together tag teams become this phenomenon. You had the Rock and Sock Connection, which whoever thought that would be as amazing. The two-man power trip with Austin and Triple H. And there's a lot of times that, people come up and they team together for a long time and they just kind of break in as a tag team. We talk about the War Raiders a lot. But then these guys that just kind of get pushed together, like look at Fandango and Tyler Breeze and what they were kind of able to do. And that's all based on their personality. And you think about some of the biggest events around. I mean, those guys came up together, though.
Well, that was my example of guys that came up together for
the Rockers.
Yeah. I mean, think about some of the biggest matches are these mega powers explode. Memorable moments, you got Jannetty getting super hit. I think tag team wrestling is so great. And when you just put two people together, and sometimes it just clicks.
That was a good one.
That was a really good one.
Yeah.
As just two guys that needed something to do. Money Inc. How great was Money Inc.? Just two longtime singles wrestlers put together. And it's just, I think it's a good way to find success for people who aren't necessarily in the Intercontinental Championship picture, aren't in the main title picture. It gives them something to do.
Yeah.
If
you've got a really congested main event picture, Brothers of Destruction is another one that comes to mind for me, like Kane and The Undertaker. Not everybody can always be in the main event every show, but that gives them a chance to kind of do something, and even to have different opponents than they usually have.
Well, how about Kane and X-Pac? The only time ever X-Pac was over.
Oh God.
Yes, the X-Pac and Tori Christmas story. Gotta love it. I mean, Stone Cold and Dude Love. There have been so many examples of these weird kind of funky tag teams that really worked well.
Even thinking back, somebody at WCW at one point in time saw Pillman, saw Austin, and just threw two singles guys together. I mean, especially then, Pillman was just this baby face high flyer, and just you find magic sometimes in ways like that. Going back to what I was saying brought me to be a fan of current wrestling is the Public Enemy. That's a completely Paul Heyman created team that he just found two singles guys, didn't have a lot to do, threw them together, threw some hockey jerseys on them, and made magic.
Yeah,
Candido
they were
and Lance
feuding,
Storm.
weren't they? Yeah.
Oh God, Candido
For
and
sure.
Lance Storm. That was
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, there have been some really good ones. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I keep wanting to come back to Judy Bagwell and Rick Steiner, but that. Well,
she just
you know,
passed
yesterday was her. She just passed. Yeah, that was why it was timely. But it was a thrown together tag team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out. We can talk about high energy.
High energy. Remember the pants?
Oh God, they were so good.
Loved it.
So much neon.
They followed up. Yeah.
The New Rockers.
The New Rockers. The New Foundation. That was the one when the Hart Foundation broke up. Yeah.
Oh God,
adding draws to the mix for LOD 2000. Ugh.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot. There's been a. And I think that's part of, like, when I was younger, like, I enjoyed Survivor Series so much because I liked seeing all these teams. Bring it back to your show next week, Stro. Seeing all these teams where, like, the guys didn't usually kind of run with each other, you know, but and they're all working toward a common purpose. I really enjoyed that.
I liked when they're recruiting people for their team. I think that was something I always enjoyed. When you have like little vignettes or backstage spots about trying to get people to join your team.
Right. Got the clipboard or they're watching on the monitor, you know?
Yeah.
You always wonder what's on the clipboard, like.
It's just the call sheet. Like, oh, he's on next.
You're gonna forget that you really thought that Coco Beware did well in that match? Like, come on.
The clipboard is just a blank sheet of white paper where somebody has written in red pen "gobbledygooker?" ?
That's what Mike Adamley's had for sure. 914-338-1885. Ray, did you have a thrown together tag team? Did we lose you? Did I not put him on? No, he's on.
No.
Maybe he had to step away. Stro, how about you? You got a thrown together tag team? The Hollywood Blondes one was a really good one.
Stro, were you ever in a thrown together tag team?
Oh, quite a few.
He was. Scott Hall, right?
Scott Hall, King Mabel at one time. Oh man,
Brady.
You name it.
Really? Did you team with Kurt?
Kurt?
Yeah. Kurt Hennig.
Kurt Hennig. We almost did it one time, but it just never came about for some reason.
Okay.
But you know, that one I was looking forward to for sure.
I could see it because you both have like the long blonde hair, you know, and like when you guys get into it, it always like started like this and it kind of ended up like this, you know?
Yeah.
It kind of like puffed out.
I got to team with Jimmy Garvin at one time.
Oh, that's cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Greg Valentine for a little bit.
By the way, Greg Valentine and Honky Tonk Man, Rhythm and Blues.
Oh man,
another one of my favorites.
Rhythm and Blues, yes.
And they did such a good job of like kind of bringing Greg Valentine and reconciling him with him by having him dye the hair and stuff. It fit. It really did fit for that period that they did that.
Oh, how about one of the greatest? What came out to be one of the greatest tag teams of all time, were a couple of singles guys looking for something to do. How about the New Age Outlaws?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they were both like in danger of like getting released because they really, neither one of them were really doing anything.
I got to team with both the guys at one time in different times.
Oh yeah,
Billy Gunn and Road Dogg.
Billy's a big fan of me, so.
Yeah.
And then an equally awful tag team, Billy and Chuck.
Billy and Chuck.
Yeah,
yes.
I enjoyed Billy and Chuck.
I enjoyed Billy and Chuck too.
For what it was, yeah. The wedding, the wedding was a bit much, but I thought they did it tongue-in-cheek funny, so. Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of them over the years. It's, yeah, I'm trying to think of more, but, it's a cool concept.
Not something that's done as much anymore because it always becomes something more than it is. even if it's not connecting, you know what I mean? Like, you want to look for that connection there. And I don't think Billy and Chuck really had it. It was a fun gimmick. It was fun to watch, both very talented, but they didn't really gel. And sometimes you just see it, two people get in the ring and they click, you know, whether it's as opponents or as teammates. And it's just in the state of booking, you know, we've kind of bringing it full circle again, is everybody needs to get a win over somebody else and then return the favor. So everybody's nice and even keeled. And they just don't have this chance to like just say, hey, let's throw these two guys out there. And I think they did a little bit with Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, and then they saddled them with ridiculous names and made everyone sad, especially me. But shout out to Chad Gable for being the valedictorian of Full Sail University while being a WWE superstar full time. Well done.
Is that real? That's true. I didn't hear that.
That's a shoot.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Good
for real.
him.
4.0.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm more surprised that Full Sail University is a real university.
Also true. I did not believe that. I thought it was just some sort of wrestling front because that's the only time I've ever heard of it.
You know, it feels like a tax dodge.
That's funny. That's funny. I mean, you know, if you talk about you know, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, obviously Shelton Benjamin. More recently, we've seen him with Cedric Alexander. Again, two guys who kind of were doing their own thing, but they come together, and it's just magic. To the point when they actually broke up the Hurt Business last year, I think a lot of people were really disappointed, like really bummed about that.
I think Shelton Benjamin is one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time.
For
he
sure.
has elevated every single person he's been in a team with. And I just think like the singles run never clicked for him. And that's okay sometimes, man. It's good to have a niche, you know. There's, you know, used to be until the new weird rules, the left-handed one-out only guy in baseball. So they get him, and being a tag team specialist, there's something special there that you can pull whatever jabroni they throw you with, and now you're suddenly a functioning team, and you're going through, and I don't know, man. I just feel it brings me back to those days of when I thought things were real, and Battle Bowl was really this thing. Like, oh my God, how did Abdullah wind up with Sting? My beloved sweet baby Sting.
Sweet
baby. Let us not forget Shelton Benjamin's fruitful partnership with the pride of Seton Hall University, Charlie Haas.
Yeah.
The world's greatest tag team.
Oh,
they were amazing.
Right there in the name.
Look at Kane and Bryan Danielson. By the time Daniel Bryan.
Oh God, yes. You want to talk about lightning in a bottle, man? That Team Hell No stuff was just they just didn't even know what to do with it.
I feel like the best guy too to get thrown into a random tag team was always like Spike Dudley. Like they would just team Spike Dudley with whoever. You know, just we got a tag team against a singles guy. We got to give us Spike Dudley. We'll toss him in there too.
Yeah,
JT.
But you're
Smith.
right. There's always certain guys. Owen Hart was another one. Owen Hart teamed with the Anvil. He teamed with Coco Beware. He teamed with Jeff Jarrett, and he teamed with Brett. And everybody who teamed with, they were a good, legitimate tag team with good chemistry.
He made everyone better. I mean, he absolutely
really
made
did.
everyone better.
He did. Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of hold this feeling in you talk about Stro did the What If show 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Owen Hart, that guy could have been the greatest personality in the history of the industry had Over the Edge not occurred.
Yeah.
That may be the single greatest tragedy in the history of wrestling, not just because of the tragic loss of life, but the tragedy of the lost potential for what could have been. You know, you talk about Brady, you had your idea for a topic of guys that could shine in other gimmicks. You know, just imagine the gimmicks that Owen Hart could have landed in and made his own and made better. And instead they saddled him with this blue blazer bullshit because they couldn't think of anything better to do with a guy of his talent level.
Yeah, and how much different Owen probably would have ended up had Brett never left. Just because I think they would have made more of a concerted effort to actually come up with good stuff for Owen Hart to do.
That WrestleMania main event, like that would have been outstanding because eventually it had to happen. That was the one
it would have.
Yeah, man.
They would have even when Brett left after like Survivor Series, like they had Owen immediately. They launched him up to the top. You know, he was feuding with Shawn Michaels for the title, and it was like I know there weren't a lot of people that thought Owen had a legitimate chance to win, and maybe he didn't in that instance, but I think he would have as time went on. I think he really was about there.
Bryan Danielson. The same kind of thing. Yeah.
Owen Hart was like 3 years too early in his career. Like if everything had just kind of paused and he had debuted 3 years later and then everything had gone to course, then obviously, you know, the tragedy never happens. I think he's hitting his stride right when, you know, the focus on the smaller technicians is becoming where we're placing our focus. And you know, and the guy had personality for days, unlike his brother, but they just never knew a way to use it.
Yeah. Imagine Owen Hart teaming up with Jason Sensation. How great that would have been.
Oh man.
There's so many missed opportunities, and it's sad. Like Kevin was saying, not just the loss of life, but like the loss of that potential of what this wrestling world would have been like. Would Owen have gone on to like do movies like Dave Bautista or like Cena or like The Rock? Does he go host an episode of SNL one day and show these tremendous comedic chops to elevate him? So sad.
I mean, would he be in the Hall of Fame? I would assume he would be.
Oh, I mean, if his family would allow it, he'd be in the Hall of Fame right now, but his family won't allow it.
Yeah. So I would assume,
there's no
how
doubt
it would have played out.
They'd put him in by now, but his wife, his widow, and his son are so against the idea of Vince profiting off of his name that it's just never going to happen.
And you know, bringing it back to what Brady was saying, also like, man, Tito Santana, Rick Martel, a huge star in the Minnesota territory, comes down. It's kind of middling. He did have another tag team run. He's another guy you can throw in a tag team, whatever. But like lightning in a bottle with Rick Martel and Tito Santana. And anytime when I was a kid, Tito Santana was on TV, my eyes were on it because he always entertained me.
Arriba.
Yeah, not so much that in hindsight when he was the Matador and Ricky Steamboat was a literal dragon.
Sometimes gimmicks
that was cool though.
Sometimes gimmicks can really even tear down a great worker.
Yeah.
And just it distracts you from how good they are. I mean, it's
Saba Simba, I'm looking in your direction, you know? It's some of it was pretty hairy.
Oh, stop it.
Max Moon. Battle Cat. Oh, I love Battle Cat. I can't say anything bad about Battle Cat. That's a guy that was ahead of his time. Imagine Battle Cat in the Attitude Era, Ray. They would have called him One Angry Puss. You know it. You know that's where they would have gone with it.
Yes, they would. Yes, they would have. Yeah.
And eventually he would have feuded with the cat.
And he would have come out.
Yeah.
You would have feuded with the cat or with Sonny.
Battle Cat
versus the Cat versus Ernest the Cat Miller in a three-way dance.
Man,
you know what's funny?
Love Ernest the Cat Miller.
Me too. At 1990, I'm reading WWF Magazine, and they had a feature, probably written by Vince Russo, just talking about all the great stars that WWE recently signed in 1990. And they're talking about Kane the Undertaker, because that was his original name. They're talking about Shane Douglas. They're talking about Battle Cat. They had all these different names, and they're speculating who's going to go on to do the greatest things. And obviously, they said Kane the Undertaker, going to be huge. And then they're like, but what about like Shane Douglas or Battle Cat? Like, who will have the bigger career, Shane Douglas or Battle Cat? And I remember thinking, damn, like Battle Cat's going to kill him. Battle Cat's going to kill him, Ray. Didn't work out that way.
I need to refresh my memory of what Battle Cat looks like.
You don't remember Battle Cat?
I remember Battle Cat. I do not remember.
I don't even know who he was.
Brady Boone.
I think he's gone now. Brady Boone. Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's the name. That was back when Vince used to take established names and cover them up.
Talk about
I interrupted you, Ray.
Talking about a guy who had some success being ruined by a gimmick. How about Tugboat / Typhoon / the Shockmaster?
Yes. Another thrown together tag team, though. By the way, the Natural Disasters were amazing.
Oh man, they were good.
When they got together and it came out of nowhere, I was like, "That's the only team that can beat the Road Warriors." I know it. Because Earthquake sat on Hulk Hogan, so I knew he could. I knew he was tough.
You have a very one-track mind. It's like, if he can sit on Hulk Hogan, he can do anything.
Don't
search. You got sit on your face.
Check out Brady's search history. There's stuff that you don't want to find.
Ray, I interrupted you there. Did you have a favorite tag team thrown together?
So I don't know how.
It doesn't matter if you had a favorite tag team.
Oh, come on. and I already claimed Judy Bagwell and Rick Steiner as mine, so officially.
So I heard. I don't know why the mic didn't work for a second. But how about this? How about this tag team existing for no reason other than they both happen to be approximately the same age and in the same location at the same time.
And they're both
Dr.
wrestlers.
Death, Steve Williams, and Ron Simmons.
I mean, there's more connection than that. Both former college football standouts. Okay, yeah, it ends there.
Were they a tag team? I don't remember that.
Yes, they were.
Wow. Okay.
Was it in Battle Bowl? Because man, I love some Battle Bowl.
Hack loves him some Battle Bowl.
I do, and I didn't realize
Battle Bowl
TNA
was
used
to throw names in the air. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did. TNA, yeah.
Listen, I can say this sentence right now. Steve Williams and Sting defeated Jushin Thunder Liger and Eric Watts.
Oh man.
Van Hammer and Danny Spivey, why was he Danny Spivey at that point in time, defeated Johnny B. Bad and Cactus Jack.
Oh,
wow.
my God.
Yeah, man, these are wild.
That's fun. Yeah.
Johnny B. Bad and Cactus Jack. There's a team.
I like
the
that.
Shockmaster and Paul Orndorff defeat Ricky Steamboat and Lord Steven Regal. Like,
oh my.
Come on, man. That's two of the greatest technicians ever. Going out to a guy in a stormtrooper.
Ricky Steamboat. I mean, geez, the Shockmaster is one of the greatest technicians ever.
Where do they go from there if he doesn't fall? Like, what does the dude in the glittery stormtrooper helmet get to do?
Nothing. Nothing. The fall is like, we only remember the fall because it was silly, but the fall was just, all it did was accelerate his trip to Nowheresville.
Yeah,
man. Do you know what gimmick played off terribly for me? Even though I knew it was going to happen, even as a kid, when the Black Scorpion turned out to be Ric Flair. I'm like, it's Ric Flair. Everyone knows it's Ric Flair. It should be literally anyone other than Ric Flair under that mask.
And of course, it was him. Yeah, that was up there with the Yellow Dog for me. So.
Was it the Black Widow was the Fabulous Moolah, right? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that was,
yeah.
That was
it was clearly never her until the reveal.
Yeah,
right.
That's always smart. That's always smart to do. Keep your options open with somebody under a hood. Like, what if it doesn't work out? Someone else there.
You always have that flexibility if you don't show your hand there.
Well, that's why 1 million people have been suicide.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Speaking of suicide or suicidal, how about a great thrown together tag team in Sabu and RVD?
Oh, so good. Well,
a tag team whose whole gimmick was, we don't know why we're a tag team.
We don't even like each other.
We don't like
We're just going to one-up each other.
Just kind of,
that was
the
cool.
guy with the whistle pisses me off. I'm here anyway. Who knows? It's just, we're just kind of doing a thing. And Fonzie's there just trying to make it all come together.
No, you're right about that. That was an amazing. There's been so many, that there have.
Even I don't know if Brady, if you played this, and Papa Straw, I don't know your history with gaming and stuff, and Ray, you either, but like all those wrestling simulator games back in the day, TNM.
I used to play that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I used those all the time. And that's one of the best things to do. You're like, what can I do with these single stars that I do not have room for in the top of the roster? I know. Yeah. Tag team title run.
Right. That was fun. Yeah.
Oh, those games were so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin and I got into a couple of them for a brief period. 80s wrestling simulator and 90s wrestling simulator, I think.
Oh, those phone ones. Yeah. What was the one we played back in college? The one that we had burned on a disc.
Wasn't it TNM? It was another. The one that's from Grey Dog Software. Yeah, I can't think of the name.
Whatever it was fucking great.
Yeah.
TNM was a pain because, like, you do the 30-day trial, and I never wanted to buy it, you know? But you basically have to wipe your hard drive in order to, like, reinstall it because,
you had to get some elite hacksaws to get it, you know?
They were ahead of their time in terms of, like, you know, preventing people stealing their game. So, yeah. It was like 30 days, Stro, and that was it. They cut you off. Like I said, you had to wipe your hard drive if you wanted to reinstall that game.
Oh, wow.
I used to do it at the computer lab at LaSalle because I knew I could just go to another computer and do it when that one, you know? Yeah. Fire Pro, not the same at all, but Matt Grimm got me into Fire Pro. I was a co-host. That was a fun game. And my God, the way people kind of created all the characters for it, you know, it was like that thing lived forever. It still is around.
I remember I had a hacked Dreamcast that just happened to, like, it was a Dreamcast I bought used, and it just happened to be hacked. So lucky me, I was able to play Japanese discs. And
wow.
And a buddy, I worked at GameStop at the time. I was like between my freshman and sophomore year in college, I think. And a guy introduced me to Fire Pro D, and he sold me he was like, all right, well, if you give me $100, I'll give you my original copy. But if you give me $20, I'll burn you a copy. I'm like, I don't know, fuck it, $20 for a burned copy. I can play burned disc.
Yeah.
So I got a copy of it, and I was like, I remember printing off like literally hundreds of pages from GameFAQs just for English translations, just so I could get through the menus. But then finding all the guys to download, and the process of like downloading and transferring shit onto memory cards back on the Dreamcast, but to get like you know all the you know WWF and WCW and ECW guys, and then all the indie guys and all the guys from the 70s and the 80s, and it was amazing. I fell in love with Fire Pro and Fire Pro D, and I got the one that came out on the PlayStation 2, which I think Fire Pro Returns. I have the one on the PS4. I mean, it's just what a great fucking game. Hours of fun.
For sure. I used to love doing the Booker stuff. So, and again, like, you know, throwing together the dream matches or the tag team matches. It was a truly great thing. Ray, you weren't much of a gamer, were you? We lose you again?
No, I'm not. I'm not much of a gamer.
Okay.
So, just you know, we talked a little bit earlier about how because eventually we'll talk about how much I love Mike Sanders, but Mike Sanders is named for all of the people who landed on the moon in the first moon landing because he was born that day. So in looking up the Battle Cat just now, the Battle Cat in 1976 attended Robbinsdale High School along with Kurt Hennig, Tom Zink, Rick Rude, John Nord, Nikita Koloff, and Barry Dorso.
Yes. They were all in that class.
That's insane.
That is a hell of a
something in the water. I didn't realize that Battle Cat went to school with those guys.
Yeah, grew him big up in Minnesota.
Wow.
Man, that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to see the Minnesota territory back in the day. You know,
that would have been amazing.
AWA.
Yeah.
When you think like Ric Flair and Sergeant Slaughter came up through there too, like there was really something insane up there.
And Hogan came out of there, right? I mean,
yeah.
All the big names came out of AWA, or a ton of them anyway.
Yeah. I mean, just think how different it would have been had maybe AWA never existed, like where would WWF been scouting all these guys? Or WCW, like where all these huge names, like maybe they never would have gotten noticed like they did.
I mean, what if Vern Gagne got the idea to destroy the territory system before Vince did?
Yeah,
he would have wiped the floor with them.
Yeah,
probably.
I think,
yeah.
Even the stuff that was like kind of derided and laughed about, like the Team Challenge series, is still a little bit ahead of its time. I mean, that's like, you know, Road Rules, Real World Challenge type stuff, is taking these established characters and putting them into something else. I think it's actually ahead of its time. I'm surprised we haven't seen anything like that again, like a WWE Battle of the Network Stars type thing. Kind of like what they have in Netflix they put out, where the New Day is trying to survive the Undertaker's house. But you know, stuff like
what?
I probably Peacock now that I think about it. There's like a choose your own adventure of
no, it's Netflix,
of the New Day trying to survive the Undertaker's house.
Yeah, we were talking about this on the show. Maybe you weren't here. It might have been before you guys got on.
No, I thought we talked about it briefly. Yeah,
it was like you know how they have the choose your own adventure options on Netflix? It was one of those.
Yeah, like
your New Day, and kind of like you got to like escape from the Undertaker's haunted mansion. No Paul Bearer though, so what a ripoff.
And what's the point if there's no Paul Bearer?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I feel like they could have at least worked his voice into it a little.
Absolutely.
Bit, you know? Yeah.
One of the great voices.
I want a hologram Paul Bearer starring in that thing, and then you
surprised they didn't do that in one of the Saudi Arabia shows.
You can Tarkin a Paul Bearer in there.
What do you guys think about doing some quick hits? We'll get out of here.
Hit it.
How's that sound?
Good.
Sweet. So NXT tonight, and I haven't watched it yet, but they announced that their next major show is going to be War Games. So they're bringing back War Games again, kind of a full, but not the War Games, of course, that we all knew and loved.
Give me a roof, you cowards.
Yeah, no, they're going to have a cage with the penalty box thing until you come out, and no roof, and it'll probably involve some fighting outside of the cage, and honestly, it's strange to me.
What you're saying is that they're not. What you're saying is they're not bringing back War Games.
Yes.
Well, they're calling it War Games because they own it. Yeah, kind of like they called last time Halloween Havoc, and they did have a spin the wheel. But
they did also have Chucky recognizing Braun Breaker, which is amazing.
He said something about his dad.
Like, you look familiar. I think I know your dad.
Exactly.
Just call him Steiner. Put a big sign on Titan Towers before I get arrested, and just call him Steiner. Put it on the door, like Martin Luther.
But like as far as War Games goes, like here's what irks me. Sometimes WWE, they get into their schedules like this is when we're going to do this match. And it's like it may not necessarily fit in terms of the programming. Hell in the Cell is really bad. Like sometimes they'll have their first match as a Hell in a Cell. That should be the blow off for any feud.
Yeah.
So it's silly to not try and time that a little better. And War Games, they always have that around Survivor Series. You've got a roster of basically virtually unknowns. And we're expected to invest in this like grueling team-based elimination battle when we barely know the participants by and large because it's all these new young guys.
Is it a three-team thing again?
I'm sure it's two, but I haven't found out yet. So
I mean, look, if they're doing as long as they're doing two teams and they're alternating 1 and 1. That one that I watched with the three teams and then
awful. Yeah.
You three guys come in at once and say, no, that's not for me. And put
the
damn roof back on it.
Well, I agree with that. They did do a women's one that was actually the women's one I thought was better than the men's the last time they did it.
It was very good. I remember that one. That was very good.
Yeah. That was the one when Dakota Kai turned on the other one.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kicked her right out of the penalty box. Oh, very good. Do any of those people still have jobs?
Oh, Dakota Kai does, I guess. Good. And the other one's on SmackDown. I can never think of her name. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm sure some of them do. I'd have to see who it was. Here's a good one. Here's a good story. Stro, I know you'll appreciate this. So Kurt Angle's talking about an underutilized member of the WWE roster who he thinks will definitely be a WWE champion someday. And I'm not buying it personally. I think he had his chance, but the dude is 42 years old. Kurt probably doesn't even know that. He predicts that Robert Roode will win the WWE title before he leaves the company.
Wow.
I think he's more likely to be one of the next ones cut. I feel like you couldn't be more far off from that.
And that Bobby Roode is a guy that, you know, back in his TNA run with
he's great.
Beer Money, by the way, another thrown together
tag. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a dude with the sky was the limit with that dude. Him and James Storm, they were great together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when they split them, like, he was a really great potential main eventer.
Yeah.
I remember they had the feud with Austin Aries was like one of my favorite things going on back then, you know? And I don't see it in WWE.
I mean, Paige got it together and got that really, you know, post-40 push. I think it could be. I mean, who knows what they're even doing there right now? Bobby Roode's tremendously talented and should be in a picture. His another thrown together tag team. Him and Ziggler are kind of good together. I don't mind it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind Bobby, but something with Dolph Ziggler, I don't know if it's the Shawn Michaels knockoff thing or just the fact that he tries to act too cool. I don't like him. I haven't liked Dolph Ziggler in years.
Let's be honest, 42 years old at the top of the WWE's main event roster is nothing. I mean, historically speaking, the guys at the top end of the roster have worked into their late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, let me put it this way. If he was in NXT, I'd say there's a far better chance that he's getting cut than getting moved up to the main roster.
I would agree.
Yeah, he's on Raw. I mean, there's a chance. He's the same age Shawn Michaels was when he retired. And Shawn retired a little young. He didn't have to stop then. He probably could have gone another 5 or 6 years and still done good matches.
Well, he lost his smile and found Jesus.
Yeah, but then he came back years later, and he was, you know, he had that second run that I think was every bit as good as the first. So, so there's that. The Rock kind of clarified this week that he probably wouldn't be wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I could see them holding off for Hollywood with that. I don't know what you guys think, but the other thing is it could just be a swerve because they love to just.
I can't see him stepping into the ring again. His body is just not built for wrestling anymore. His body is so different in its muscular construction than it was when he was a wrestler. He's built to be, you know, an actor.
Built for show, not for go.
Thank you, exactly. And so and the other thing is, you know, look, if you're Dwayne, and let's be honest, he's not The Rock anymore. He's Dwayne. And if you're him and you're, you know, pulling in whatever he pulls in for every movie deal, and you know, because this is how you made your living for a long time, and friends of yours have gone down that road where it just takes one bad bump to fuck everything up.
And he hurt himself the last time he was in.
Yeah, separated his shoulder.
Did you mention that? I'm sorry. Yeah, against Cena.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, if you were him, could you really put yourself in that position again where one bad slip and, you know, break your neck?
No payday for him is going to be worth it. He'd only be doing it as a favor for Vince. And the fact that a certain someone was in the last round of cuts makes me think he's not in the mood to do Vince any favors, although his daughter is still employed.
Oh, Naya. Yeah. I forgot about that.
I wish we could all forget about that.
Famous for this.
Oh God, my holes! I forgot about that. Oh Lord,
that is one of the greatest sound bites that this show has ever managed to get.
Better than Sasha Banks on SmackDown? Yeah, it's coming.
I'm gonna say yeah.
What are you doing?
It's SmackDown. It was on SmackDown.
That's my friend's wife. Stop it.
You were, I think you might have been laying.
That's your friend's wife, really?
Yeah, I came up with Mikaze. I watched Mikaze. Oh. Mikaze's one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen do it. He is tremendous. Him and Frankie Arion could go for hours here in Connecticut.
I didn't realize there was a connection there.
Yeah, I love that guy.
No, that was taken from SmackDown. Oh man. Well, you must hate me now.
I don't hate anybody. I don't have room for hate, man.
Good.
Nothing but love.
Good. Yeah. Hey, I got nothing but love for Sasha. That's why we made the clip. Last one, and when I was talking about this off the air, I found the official quote, and I have to throw it out there. So Ahmed Johnson said, "I can outdraw Stone Cold. Just give me that gimmick." So that's Ahmed Johnson saying he could have been Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't buy that.
It's always nice to hear that we are still giving people with CTE a platform to speak their mind. That's good for him.
I buy it 100%.
Yeah,
that dude was awesome. He had a huge build. He was really athletic. I think he's another one who had a couple slip-ups. I don't know. I don't think anyone was ever going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin other than Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's him. That was the person he was built to play. It took him a while to get there, but he was there. But, man, Ahmed Johnson, given a different path, I think could have legit been a top guy. I was in love. Man, the Pearl River Plunge, terrible name for a finisher, but it just looks so devastating.
Yeah. No, he definitely had that going for him. He was a scary dude in the ring.
Yeah,
and I could see why people would have gotten behind him.
A lot of natural charisma.
Yeah, he did, but he didn't have Stone Cold charisma.
I don't think so, but he could have been. He could have been a big guy. He could have been a top guy.
He should have been a top guy for sure. Stro, what do you think? Could Ahmed Johnson have taken the Stone Cold role? Fantasy Booker.
One time, was mentioned, he was very talented, and and he's very well on his way, basically. Stone Cold, that remains to be seen. I mean, I'm not saying he couldn't pull it off, but it would be, of course, a different type of a Stone Cold persona, I would think, than the one Austin is well known for. Because, like I said, Austin can only pull off the whole Stone Cold Steve Austin deal. But with Ahmed, I'm sure he could pull it off in his own way. You know what I'm saying? It'd be his own style.
I think if you flop the leads of the Nation of Domination and you give him that feud with The Rock instead of late in career Ron Simmons, I think that elevates him to a different level. Although Ron wasn't really late in his career because he still had a whole second chapter of the APA to write after that. But
he was old. Yeah, you're right. Throwing together tag team. So
I think with Ahmed though, with Simmons and Dwayne The Rock, I think they're just better talkers, honestly.
Yeah, that's a definite drawback.
I based my immediate answer was that's crazy now, no way. And I based that largely on when Ahmed left there and he went to WCW, if you remember. I think it was Big T or something like that. He did the whole feud with Booker T.
Yeah.
And to see
over
those
the letter
guys,
T. Oh my God, I just remembered that.
Yeah, so you put it together. I didn't even get that far, but when they were very comparable, both very physically, just very intimidating, very big, and Booker T blew him away in terms of charisma. And I know Ahmed was at that point, he was a couple years removed from kind of being a major star, and he was definitely a little heavier, a little out of shape, I think, or whatever. But it just drilled home to me. This is Booker T up here, and Ahmed is down here, nowhere near that level of Booker T. So that's why, when he said that, my first thought was you had that chance to kind of get there and you didn't. I just don't think he had the charisma that
Hey,
Stone
well,
Cold
give me one memorable Ahmed Johnson promo. I mean, what? You know.
Well, I think Stro said it like that's where it really. I think he had a lot of natural charisma. The ability to talk just isn't there.
Yeah, and you can't be Stone Cold if you can't cut a promo.
Yeah.
Right. The only one that jumps out at me in terms of promos, and it's horrible to look back on now, was the one when Goldust kissed him, and he pushed him away, and he got all mad. And so you couldn't even do that today.
Yep.
You know? He was basically a homophobic babyface.
Yeah.
Not unlike Scott Hall. When
he was Tim Hardaway?
I didn't say that.
Roddy Piper did a whole WrestleMania match based on that, right? With Goldust.
On homophobia, yeah. Well, that was how Goldust made his first year. Yeah. Backlot
brawl.
Yeah.
Ahmed Johnson was
brawl.
the first African American Intercontinental Champion.
Yes, I did know that. Yeah. Cool stuff. So, did any of you guys have anything to plug on the way out tonight?
Oh, we forgot to mention it's Chris Jericho's birthday.
Oh.
I didn't know that. How old is he?
I think 51.
51, 52? Okay. I did not know that.
Look, this Thursday night, guys, for one night only, this Thursday night in theaters, Rocky IV, Rocky versus Drago, the director's cut. 40 minutes of additional footage added to Rocky IV. This is a movie that contains no less than 3 montages. And one of those montages, I recall, features scenes that happened earlier in the same movie. So there had to be a ton of shit on the cutting room floor. They finally put it back together. They're doing one night only Fathom events. Check your local listings if you want to go check it out. If not, it's going to go streaming somewhere on Friday, so you'll be able to watch it.
I got to check that out. But
if you're like me, you want to see Rocky IV with a big crowd. So I'll be going to check that out.
Very cool, definitely.
90 seconds.
Anybody else? Once, twice?
I got nothing. I'm trying to figure out when I can ask Papa Stro to take me under his wing and do some of those old school WCW throwback stuff, because man, I got some ideas.
Oh man, anytime.
Yeah,
please do.
gotta ask the wife for some time off. It's, you know.
All right.
Yeah, he's every Thursday night right here. Ray, you got nothing?
60 seconds.
Ray.
No, it's just all Stro's fine work.
I see we have some more callers on the line. Sorry, guys. We ran out of time for this week. Dustin in particular. I'll get to you next week, pal. Sorry about that. But I do miss you, so please call back soon. Stro, what do you got going on this week, man?
Well, as I alluded to earlier in the podcast, WCW Retro will return next week with a topic called Build Your Own Survivor Series Team, Past and Present. So I'm really excited for next week's WCW Retro episode.
Yeah, that's cool.
Next Thursday. And, of course, Friday night, the Stro Zone at midnight Eastern Standard Time at facebook.com/Stro the Maestro. The feature will be The Ghost and Mr. Chicken starring Don Knotts. So please tune in.
10 seconds.
Very cool. From my end, thank you everybody who came out to ECWA Battle Clash. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Thank you to everybody who came out to ECWA back on Saturday night. Be sure to check out the show on IWTV, and be sure to check out future shows. I believe the Super 8 is coming up next. That's in March, so be sure to check out ECWAWrestling.com for that, for more tickets and information, all that jazz. Thank you to the callers. Thank you to the best crew I could ever ask for, Kathy, Stro, Derek, Ray, Matt, Kevin, Patrick. All you guys are just amazing, and you bring so much to the show. I really appreciate it. Everybody check out all the great stuff available on VOCNation.com and on your favorite podcast platforms. Buy the T-shirts. Check out the social media, all that stuff. And thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Number one. No, not number one anymore. He's the Mecca. Brian Johnson, formerly of Ring of Honor. We're going to be talking with him next week on the show and so much more. Everybody have a great week. I love you all very much. Take care.